Hey everybody, how are you doing? A really warm welcome to my channel. It's so great to see you here again. If you're new here, my name's Alison. I'm a 50-something witch living in Derbyshire, England, and I'm here to talk about all things witchy lifestyle, a bit of mundane lifestyle, and everything that brings us joy. And it's absolutely brilliant to have you along with me. And today I'm going to be doing a task that I've put off for a couple of weeks. My hallway altar is in massive need of a strip down and reset. You might know already, if you've been here for a while, that I've got two altars in our house, one of which is in the living room and is my kind of ceremonial altar, where I mark Sabbats and so on. But the second one is in the hallway, and I think that that's actually my kind of main altar, where I do a lot of work-ins and where I keep most of my magical kit, and all my little bits and pieces. Now, it needs a reset, it needs sorting out, and the reason for that is that I've been doing a lot of work-ins there recently, lots of different kinds of work-ins, so there's lots and lots of different energy flying around, I feel. And I think that when you've been doing a lot of work, especially if it's work of a different nature, it can pick up a lot of vibe from the work that you're doing. I'm not saying that my work's been negative in any way, it hasn't, but there's been a lot of different intent behind the work I've been doing. So I think that on that basis alone, it needs a good spiritual clean as well as a physical clean. Physical because it's absolutely filthy, it's so dusty, and everything on there is dusty, and I think that if something's dirty, it's not going to give you the result that you want it to. You want it to be as positive a place as possible. Yeah, and so the second reason is that I definitely feel a change in the energy outside my home at the moment. Now, I don't know about where you are, but at the moment the weather here is just is crazy. It's been more like September, October where we are in the UK, and when we were out and about yesterday, we noticed that there were rowan trees that are absolutely dripping in berries already. So there's a definite change in the seasons on the way, and I mean, it's only July, but it feels really weird, and I'm definitely feeling it. I don't know if you are as well. I'd be really interested to know in the comments if you're noticing it too. But with that in mind, and without wishing time away, I'm definitely starting to feel that I need to prepare for Lammas coming, which is the first of the harvest festivals, and is happening on the 1st of August, which is not that far away, but I'm definitely feeling that change coming. So I'm going to do a little bit of work to get it ready for Lammas, to make it look pretty for the upcoming season. And I'm going to bring you along with me so that you can have a look at how I'm going to do this, and I hope that you'll enjoy it. So without any further ado, let's get cracking. So we're in the hallway, and here is my altar. If you've been here from the early days of my videos, you've probably seen this place before. This is where I keep the majority of my witchy bits and pieces, where I keep all the bits for my spellcraft, and where I keep my crystals, my tools, and all the other things that I'm going to use for doing my spell and craft work. But I also use this, and my husband uses this as well, because this is a living altar, it's a working altar, and you know, we share this space. Our home is really tiny, so we have to share space, and also George likes to sit on here as well, and at the moment he can't do that because there's just so much stuff on here. So I really need to strip this down from top to bottom and get it sorted out, because it's not serving any of us very well at the moment. It's absolutely covered in dust, as you can probably see. Things are not in the right place, and yeah, it's just in big need of a good sort out. So the first thing I'm going to do is get everything off it, which is going to take me a little while, and I'm going to meet you back here when I've done that. So I will see you in a few minutes. So here we are with the empty shelves, and I can't believe how dirty they are. Absolutely filthy. But never mind. It's I'm going to say it's the sign of a well-loved, well-used altar that it gets so mucky. Now, here are the things that I'm going to use to clean it. So first of all, I'm going to give it a mundane clean, and by that I mean I'm going to get rid of all the dust and dirt and make it actually look clean. And to do that, I'm going to give it a good brush with my trusty dustpan and brush, and then I'm just going to use my Purdy and Fig cleaning spray. I'm not sponsored in any way, shape or form, but I really like this. I'm using the Reviving Citrus fragrance, and it smells lovely and just gets rid of dirt and dust quicker than anything else I've ever used. And then I'm going to use some sage to give the shelves a really nice spiritual clean, to get rid of anything negative that might be clinging to them. And I'm also going to use my little tincture bells to give them a sound cleanse, and I'll show you how to use these when I get to that point. To finish the clean off, I'm going to use some lavender floral water that I got from Bramble and Bone, again not sponsored, and I'm going to drop some rosemary and lavender essential oils into the water to give it a little bit more fragrance and a little bit more of a protective boost. So first things first, I'm going to dust this off, and then I'll show you the next stage. Okay, so everything's dusted down, and I'm going to start from the top and work my way down cleaning it. Now, this is the first time I've done a kind of real live action work with me thing. I know we've done spell bottles and black salt, but that's been on a totally different basis, so bear with me. I don't know how this is going to look or how it's going to work, but let's learn together and start from the top. So I'm just going to give it a squirt all the way down to the bottom. Oh, it smells lovely, and I'm just going to give it a good wipe. Not forgetting the back as well. There's like a little groove that holds plates and crockery, because that's what this was originally for. So I'm making sure that I'm getting right into those as well. Oh God, it's so dirty. And all the little bits and pieces, all the little carved bits. Don't know what they're called, sorry. Drawer handles. This is looking better already. And then the base. There we go. That already looks and smells 10 times better than it did. So I'm pleased with that already. If you're not doing a full clean down of your altar, you could leave it at this point and then just put everything back. But because this is a full physical and spiritual cleaning, I'm going to go the whole hog, and the next thing I'm going to do is light some sage and just give it a waft from top to bottom, from right to left in a circle. Yeah. Sorry, my words are escaping me today. So here's my sage. This particular one has got some sweet grass in it. This was not a type I'd used before until recently, but it's absolutely lovely and I'm really enjoying it. Now, it's said that sage takes away negative energy and leaves good energy behind, and I'm happy with that. Because I've mentioned before that before we lived here, an elderly couple shared this house and they passed away within 10 days of each other, and as we understand it, they were completely devoted to each other, and I can still feel their presence really strongly in this house, and I don't want them to be moved on. I want them to be here for as long as they are happy here. So I'm happy that sage isn't going to do anything to move those people on before they're ready. They're welcome here, and we're happy that they're here. I think that they're really protective and gentle people, and from what we've heard our neighbours say, we know that to be true, so we want them here. Anyway, back to my point. This is just going to be, I'm going to waft it up into all the corners, along the top. I might just need to light it again actually. I try to keep my sage as dry as I can, but sometimes I think it must pick up a little bit of damp. If anybody's got any tips for a good way to keep it dry and for it to stay lit for longer, I'm all ears. Please let me know in the comments. That seems to be nicely burning now. So I want to go in all the corners, all the way around, along the shelves and underneath the shelves. The next thing I'm going to do is use my little tincture bells to give my altar a sound cleanse. Now, not everybody uses these. I love them because I just love the sound that they make, and I love the feeling that they get when I've used them. I don't actually know anybody else in my immediate circle who uses these, but I really love them and I love the effect they have, so that's why I choose to use them when I'm doing an altar reset or any other time that I feel that the air needs to be cleared. They work due to their vibration, as I understand it, and basically all you need to do is hold them by their little string or whatever is used to bind them and gently knock them together, and they create a really nice high-pitched sound. If you strike them just right, they will actually ring for quite a while, and you use that to move it around the space, to move the sound around the space. So that's what I'm going to do on my shelves. So I'm going to start from the top and just move it around. All the way down to the base. And back up to the top. And that's it. Now, these work on the same principle as a singing bowl, I believe, which I've also got, but I prefer to use these little bells for this purpose. And yeah, it's nice to get them out every once in a while. And the last thing I'm going to do to finish actually cleaning the altar is to mix up a little potion of lavender floral water, and I'm using lavender essential oil and rosemary essential oil. And the reason I'm using this on a disposable cloth is because I want this gone when it's done with. I don't want to wash it, I don't want to reuse it, I want it gone and out of the house. So I'm just adding some of the floral water onto the tissue, a few drops of lavender oil and some rosemary oil. And then I'm just going to start from the top again and just give it a wipe. All the shelves, the drawer handles, and I'm just using this as an extra layer of protection and to just raise the energy of the altar and keep it a really positive place. And it smells so nice. Really hope you can see what's happening. As I said, this is the first time I've made a video like this, so I really hope it's working for you. And that is it. It's clean and sparkling. It's looking 100 times better than it did. So the next stage is going to be for me to clean and dust everything that's come off the altar, decide if anything needs to be moved on, and then replace everything. So I'll see you back here when I've finished cleaning everything down. It might take me a little while. Whenever I look at my altar in the hall, I always think, oh, you know what, there's not that much on there. But when I took everything off, it turns out, well, yeah, actually there is. No wonder it's feeling a little bit chaotic. So yeah, this might take me a little while, so I'll see you in a bit. The first thing I've done is added this absolutely beautiful yellow bee print fabric to the altar, which I think is going to be perfect for the upcoming Lammas season. And then I've put back things that are absolutely nailed on, going nowhere. So I've got my seawater, my sand, my stormwater and my black salt, my chalice and a couple of other bits and pieces. And yeah, now I'm going to start cleaning down all the herb jars, refilling the ones that need filling, and then I'm going to put those back and we'll see how that's looking. The herbs are all back in place now, and they look so much better now that they're dusted and organised. I've refilled a couple that needed topping up, and I've got some more herbs drying in the kitchen, and I'm actually going to hang those on the altar when we finish putting everything back. But yeah, I'm so pleased with how this is looking so far. It feels much better already. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. I've put my chalice back, I've put a few other bits and pieces, I've put my little offering bowl back and a couple of bits of decor. So now we're starting to make progress, and I think we're nearly done. And we're almost there. Everything's back where it should be. I've removed a couple of things that I won't use anymore, and I've added some herbs that I'm drying. There's a nice big bunch of mint from the garden that I picked earlier today, and lower down I've got some yarrow, and I've also got some lavender that I harvested this morning. The yarrow is actually growing on our front garden. It's never grown there before, so I'm really happy about that. And yeah, so everything's where it should be. And the last thing I'm going to do is add my little sunflower lights, and then we'll have one final look round. Finally, everything's back in its rightful place, and I'm really happy with how it feels and how it looks, and with how much the energy's changed. It's just so much brighter, so much lighter in the hall as well as just round the altar itself. But I'm really happy with it. It's taken a long time, but it was worth it. It was worth taking everything off and starting from scratch, because it just feels so much different. Now, the thing about this altar is that I consider it to be the heart of our home, because we live in a house that doesn't have a fireplace, and so it doesn't have a hearth and it doesn't have a chimney. So I think that this is the heart of our home, and I like to think of it as a focal point for our energies, for keeping us calm, keeping us centered and keeping us grounded. I've mentioned before how important I think it is that we keep a calm and stable house, especially if anybody in the house is unwell, and that's certainly true of our house, because both me and my husband have got some quite, you know, nasty ongoing health issues. But you know, we don't let them get us down. We try and get on with our lives as best we can. But I think that part of that is trying to keep home as calm and safe and comforting as possible. And so I'm really happy that this is the focal point of that calmness, if you like. And with that in mind, there's one more thing I need to do, and that's just to give the whole area a little spray with this Calm Waters infusion mist that you might have heard me talk about before. I got this from Bramble and Bone, not sponsored, but I absolutely love their products. They're so beautiful, real witchcraft in action products. I love them, and this is a fantastic product. And I'm just going to give the whole space a little spritz, and that's it. Everything's finished. I'm really happy with how it's looking and how it's feeling. And I'll just give you a very quick whiz round before we finish off. Okay, so going from the top, I've got the bigger things up here, so my bigger jars of herbs. I've got my main chalice that I use for ritual work. The yarrow that I was telling you about earlier, which I found growing in the garden this morning. So happy about that. My jar with the feathers in, that I find when I'm out and about walking. I'm sure if you're anything like me, you're picking feathers up all the time. My little clay chalice that I found in a vintage store. Couldn't believe my luck there. And the big bottles I've already told you about. So moving downwards, I've got my ink for my dip pen. I love the purple ink. Couple of other bits and pieces. My silver altar bell that I got in Pendle. My own protection oil. And the lavender that I brought in from the garden this morning. Some very special bits and pieces. This is a brooch belonging to my late grandmother, that I absolutely love. Some of the stones are missing, but I don't care about that because I love it, and it's one of my most treasured possessions. My calcite sphere, selenite sphere, my little Nightmare Before Christmas Jack in the Box that my friend gave me. It's Halloween all year round in this house, so I don't care if there's spooky decor out all year round. My little Bridget dolly that I made, and this is a little wooden statue that I felt just completely spoke to me about the union of the god and goddess, and I use that on my Beltane altar, and I just love it. It's such a potent little carving. It's beautiful. So moving down onto my herb shelves, this is where I keep all my herbs to use in my spells and my spellcraft. Siegfried the skeleton, who lives on the altar all year round with my little fox. Lots of pine cones on the altar for protection and to ward off negativity. My little prosperity bottle that lives on the altar. The mirror that I use to deflect negativity, that's why it's facing towards the front door. Some other bits and pieces. I do like to use pretty jars for the herbs, But I also don't mind if they come in really nice ones, like these ones from Morrison's. I absolutely love these. I love Morrison's herbs. They're really cheap, and I think the jars are fantastic. So they get to stay in the jars that they came in. Yep, a couple more bits. There's my old cauldron here. I got this when I first started practicing the craft. In fact, it was before I started practicing the craft. It was many years ago. So that's got a permanent place on my altar. And down on the base is where I'm at the moment keeping 2 oracle decks. One of them is the Litha oracle, and this one is the Seasons of the Witch Lammas oracle. I haven't opened it yet. I can't wait to open it. But it's resting here with a couple of crystals just to bring its energy up before I start using it, and I can't wait to open that. But I'm going to give it another week or so, I think, before I think the changing season really kicks in. So on the bottom shelf is where I keep my tin with my candles, my mini portable altar that stays here if it's not coming out and about with me, my book of shadows, the Woodland Warden's oracle, which, you know, lives here permanently because I just adore it, as you know. I keep my salts here, my little pebbles. One is just for pebbles that I use in spell work, and the other one, the one on the left, is pebbles, sea glass and sea pottery that I found on the day that we took my mum's ashes to Scarborough, and I found them on the beach, so they all came home with me. That's another one of my absolute treasures. In these boxes I keep my crystals and I keep my essential oils. And here we go with my new cauldron that I got for my birthday recently, and my fox that I keep some little personal bits in. And this little hair is what I use to keep my weekly oracle draw card in. So it goes in there, and I use that as a place to keep focus on it. It's there all week, so I'll be doing that later. The card will be going in there, and yeah, it'll be right at home on these lovely fresh clean drawers. Wow, it's taken me a lot longer than I thought it was going to sort my altar out, but I'm really glad that it's done because it looks so much better. It looks so much happier than it did, and the change in the energy around it is massive. I wish you could feel it. It's lovely. It looks so much brighter, it looks so much happier, and so it was worth setting aside this time to sort it out and restore it to how it should be. These things happen, you know, we live busy lives, and as I said, our altar, it's a working altar, you know, we live our lives around it, so it's bound to accumulate dust and mundane stuff that you don't really want to be on there, but it's a fact of life. And anyway, it's great fun when you get to strip it down and reset it, and I really hope that you've enjoyed coming along with me. This has been a real first for me. It's been looking at different ways of filming things. I'm learning all the time. I'm still fairly new to YouTube, as you probably know. Well, at least to posting videos regularly, I'm very new at it. So it's a real learning curve. It's a massively steep learning curve, and I'm absolutely loving it. And whoever you are and wherever you're from, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad that you've joined me for this magical journey that we're on, and thank you so much for being part of it. And also thank you for all the lovely comments that you left on my community post last weekend about the reason that I had to postpone this video. I'm so thankful to everybody who reached out and said such lovely kind things. You're just absolutely lovely. Everyone is just so friendly, so kind, and I'm so thankful that you're here, and I appreciate every single person who's here with me. Thank you so much. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I hope that you find a minute of joy in every single day. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you next weekend when I've got a really special treat lined up for you. I'll tell you more about that during the week, but in the meantime, Look after yourselves, look after each other. Thank you so much for being here, and blessed be.